Hey y'all, it's your girl Need to Be Watching, and I'm back with another video. Now, I'm pretty sure we all saw the performance Beyonce did at the Super Bowl. When I tell you she killed it, she killed it. I loved the whole performance. You know, I'm a Beyonce fan, so I'm gonna just get that out right now. This is a pro Beyonce channel, so if what you heard, if you got a problem, tell somebody else about it because I don't care. Now, let's get back to this. So, I've been seeing on these TikTok streets the conversation being brought up about Beyonce supporting white supremacy with her Cowboy Carter album. Now, I put a couple videos in here. I want y'all to listen to what these good folks had to say, and I'm going to have comments toward the end. But thanks for tuning in. Let's get into these videos. See y'all. I don't dislike people who dislike Beyonce. I dislike people who think that disliking Beyonce is somehow a personality trait, right? And this is what I mean. If we're watching the halftime show and you know that we like Beyonce and you don't like Beyonce, why would you think that now is the time for you to start pointing out shit about the performance that you don't like? I think she's lip syncing. I think that part was pre-recorded. I think she's gotten a BBL. I think I'm about to start cussing you the fuck out. Can you please shut up?
Beyonce creates propaganda, and to a certain extent, that is okay, before you come at me with your fucking pitchforks. But let's talk about it. First of all, let's talk about what propaganda is. Propaganda is a form of communication meant to influence a group of people around a political agenda. I don't know what Beyonce music y'all are listening to, but to me, it is very clear that since her self-titled album, her music has a political agenda. Songs like Pretty Hurts and Flawless, to me, are very obviously feminist propaganda. Songs like Formation and Freedom, to me, are very obviously pro-black propaganda. To me, Cowboy Carter as an album is black liberal propaganda, and I don't necessarily think that that is a bad thing. But I don't think anyone is going to sit here and debate me about the fact that there was a clear political message in those lyrics. Based on every definition of propaganda that I have seen, that automatically makes that music propaganda. But it also means that that music can be used by others for the purposes of propaganda. So let's talk about this most recent performance of Cowboy Carter during a football halftime show. And shout out to Hot Damn Historian that I think put out a really nuanced analysis of how this performance and its messaging are different than the album and its messaging. Like, the album on its own very much is a critique of how American history is told. I gathered that. I listened to the album too, y'all. But how she chose to perform that album with that imagery in that venue had a slightly different political message. It had an undertone of nationalism that I think it's really important that we pick up on, especially in the times that we are living in right now. And this is further evidenced by the fact that there were people who, after watching that performance, said that they felt proud to be an American in a way that they normally don't, because they normally feel like that pride is only reserved for white people. And now Beyonce has made them feel like they have their own piece of America, their own piece of history to be proud of. And there are ways in which I don't necessarily think that that is a bad thing, and there are ways in which I don't think it's a good thing either. Beyonce chose to use the red, white, and blue stars and stripes imagery for this project. She didn't have to. There are other flags, there are other images that represent Black Americans and Black American history, but that's not the creative decision that she made. As someone who has been a fan of Beyonce my entire life, one of the biggest critiques I have of her is that she is someone who puts out incredibly political music and then allows that music to be used for propaganda in ways that I don't agree with. And I think that this performance is a great example of that. Another great example of that, I think, is the fact that she allowed the Renaissance film to be streamed in Israel during an ongoing genocide. And it's funny that so many people were like, well, you didn't listen to American Requiem, you didn't get it. I did get it. And part of why that song actually turned me off from the very beginning is because a core message of the song is that people should stand for something, and when she put that song out, she was not standing for something. Similarly, Beyonce's song Freedom speaks to Black liberation. Beyonce allowed Kamala Harris to use that song as her walkout music, which is propaganda. And yet, Kamala Harris was actively involved in the oppression of Black people, in the incarceration of Black people, in the further enslavement of Black people. Now, do I think Beyonce needs to be canceled because she's an evil propagandist working to brainwash all of us? No. And I never fucking said that. I just said that she's a propagandist, and a damn good one at that, because I've been eating her music up my entire life.
Happy Monday. So, Hannah's video about Beyonce's performance has been making its rounds. And I think I've had a lot of thoughts about her take I think a portion of me understands her position about propaganda, and I guess I agree with it like on a very basic level, but I also feel like we're being very flippant about the word propaganda and almost cheapening the value of the word itself, just because, it's like, if Beyonce is a propagandist, then like it really just lessens the value of like people who are really using propaganda to like try to, wipe out whole swaths of people. But that's another argument for another time. I also felt like she was extremely disrespectful to Kamala Harris when it wasn't necessary. For those who watched her whole video, that like last 30 to 40 seconds, when she was calling Beyonce a propagandist of Black liberation, or the Black liberation movement, via the song Freedom, she also said that Kamala was basically moving forward the oppression of Black people and the enslavement of Black people, basically, I guess, through her work as a prosecutor, which I have friends who work as prosecutors, right, who have to do the hard work of putting criminals behind bars. I don't think they are furthering the enslavement of Black people when they happen to put a Black person behind bars for committing a crime. So like, to say that this Black woman, who I happen to find pride in for all the work that she has done, I know her family finds pride in for all the hard work that she has done for years, is furthering the enslavement of Black people, that is a huge statement to make about a woman who has done significant work for the progression of Black people, I believe, and for our country. To me, is just lazy, disrespectful, and I think worthy of an apology. I don't know why someone would say that, and I don't know how it really connects to your argument, right? So, frustrated when I hear that. I think my last point is, I think as Black people, we have to get to a point where we recognize that a lot of things can be true at the same time, right? She's making a point that, there were people who watched the show who weren't Black and said, I'm proud to be an American after seeing that. And there's nothing we can do about that, right? Like, there are going to be some folks who see what you're doing, right? And maybe what you're doing isn't for them, and they get a benefit out of what you do. You can't control that, right? And I'm sure what Beyonce is doing may not always be for everybody else, but some other folks are going to get a benefit from what she's doing. And the idea that she has to, or Black people need to use different symbols of representation, right, to represent ourselves, so that we can so that we have a symbol of self-identification, to me only furthers what I think the majority class has been calling us to do for years, right? That's why we have Afro-American in front of American, right? Like, you need a separate term to identify you, right? You should have a different flag so that people know that you mean just Black people. No, the American flag is our flag, right? We are American. Our American experience may be different from our white brothers and sisters, but let's be very clear. I am American. My family, we were brought over here, no fault of our own. We're here. We've been here for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, built our own lives, our own cultures, our own experience. And guess what? Now we own that experience. And I think now many Black people I know, are trying to reclaim our American identity. And I really believe Cowboy Carter, in many ways, is an expression of that experience that a lot of Black folks are going through, of trying to say, hey, we're taking back some of these things that you have tried to steal from us, and letting you know that these things are ours as well. So that flag is ours, that music is ours, this land is ours, and guess what? Wealth is ours as well. So no, we don't need to use a different flag. We don't have to use just Black as our color. White can be ours as well. Capitalism doesn't just have to be ours. We don't have to walk around and be impoverished or think that, like, wealth is just some sign of, or poverty is a sign of I don't know, like, you're good, or humanity and care. No, like, you can be wealthy and be a good person as well. Like, all of these things I think are also a part of the programming. So I don't know, I'm going on a long tangent, but I just truly believe that both things can be true. And I think as much as we're trying to fight against the machine who, that is trying to work people to death, I think you also have to kind of work against the mentality that tells you that your identity in being a part of this country is okay. So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Have a happy Monday.
I low-key forgot that white people don't like Beyonce, because tell me why I was at my aunt's house for Christmas, right? We're watching the Super Bowl. Halftime comes up. Mind you, I don't give a fuck about football. I'm only there for Beyonce. She hits the stage. I'm gagging the whole time. Corner of my ear, I hear, why does she look like that? She looks stupid. Her voice is annoying. Why is she making her daughter perform? Who is Cowboy Carter? That was my last fucking straw, bitch. What the fuck do you mean, who's Cowboy Carter? And they kept saying that, like, her performance was, like, bizarre and, like, weird. whatever that means. But it's like, why don't white people like Beyonce? I'm confused.
You know, what would it look like if these conversations happened past Beyonce? I know some of these discussions center Beyonce, so you can't remove her, but some of them don't. So the aspects of it that don't center Beyonce, what would it look like if we actually discussed them outside of her? Because people are right. There's a rose-colored cloud of judgment that happens when people talk about Beyonce and being able to like accurately critique her. There is. And I also believe that there is another cloud that has people struggling to look past her in their critiques. I do. There's discussion about people are so obsessed with Beyonce that she can do no wrong. What about being so obsessed with Beyonce that we struggle to look past her and talk about things that don't include her, that she's not centered in? I want to have that discussion. And that discussion to me is Black American Southern culture, Black American Southernness, that the backbone of a Black American identity and culture. That's the discussion I want to have. And I feel like that's getting completed as just Beyonce in discussions. And the reason I think that is because for a lot of you all, the first time y'all have engaged with Black Southern culture has been through this album, through Beyonce. And that's why it's difficult to separate her from it. I agree 100% that she's a billionaire, that she shouldn't have shown that damn movie in Israel, that the blood diamonds ain't okay, and that she knows how to turn a profit on this shit. Abso-motherfucking-lutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And that she knows that some of this imagery can be seen as propaganda or be used as propaganda. Yes. But is the poor Black cowboy who be going to rodeos using propaganda? Is the young Black girl who wants to go to a horse camp because her granddaddy taught her how to ride a horse, because his granddaddy taught him how to ride a horse, engaging in propaganda? Is the people wearing all white in the Juneteenth carriages for Juneteenth celebration engaging in propaganda, Americana shit, when they've been doing that shit for 50 plus years, generations in their family? That is what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. I get it. I get the white gaze. I understand. But those Black people that feel seen by the shit are not thinking about that. They're not thinking about that. They're saying some shit that their granddaddy and their great-granddaddy and their great-great-grandma was teaching them down the line, being talked about. And they're being seen by that shit. And they have a right to be. They have a right to be. To feel seen by that shit. To understand and grasp and relate to that shit. They do. Whether or not it's a billionaire artist who there can be an argument had, or whether she's actually feeling shit or she's just using it to engage in some type of propaganda. Cool. That's what she's doing. The people who feel seen by that are not doing that. They're not the ones in the stadium. They're not. Beyonce don't know we motherfucking exist. Okay? She doesn't care about us. As people have said, right? She don't go back. She don't know we exist. But the Black person in the community around you who has roots in the South, or whose grandmas are from the South, or who's straight from the South, who can relate to all that shit, might know you. That is my point. How are you going to engage in discussion with Black folks where that is their culture? You're going to tell them they're using propaganda, that's Americana, they're using imagery for the fucking American machine, and that's what they're doing, and they should be shaming themselves? No. And I'll be honest, the way that Black folks outside of the South speak to Black Southerners and speak about Black Southern culture, y'all be perpetuating these isms that we talk about calling out. Y'all act like they're fucking stupid. Y'all act like you resort a lot of the culture to being whiteness, to being white Americana, to being propaganda, to being problematic, to being ghetto, to being slave culture. It's kind of nuts. It is. And I've seen it for years. And I didn't believe when Black Southerners was talking about that's how people be treating them, because I was like, what are you talking about? And I've seen it for years. Originally, it's like an elitist way, right? And people talking down on Black Southerners and stuff. And now that this Black Southern culture, Black Texan culture being attached to a billionaire, now it's like a moralistic way that I feel like people are talking about aspects of this culture that is like, damn, can you even talk to people? Beyonce is not Black Southernness, and she's not Black Texanness. She's from Texas. She's a Black woman from Texas. She's using that imagery. She's using some of that culture that she can relate to, right? But she is not that. So what does the conversation look like outside of her, where we talk about, damn, so much of like Black American culture can be seen as propaganda. So much of Black American Southern culture is in this. Is it propaganda Americana, or is it Black American culture, or is it both? Like, what does that conversation look like? And how can you engage in Black Southernness? How can you engage in Black Southernness and Black Southern folk who are telling you that this is some of these things are shit that they have been seeing for decades, for generations, outside of football stadiums? Like, this is actual culture. How are we going to listen to them? And I'm going to use the example of Juneteenth. What if 30, 40 years from now, we've already seen what they've done with Juneteenth. It's turned super capitalistic. What if 30 years from now, that shit gets even worse, and it is fully engulfed in this Americana propaganda? And home of the free, we have Juneteenth, and da-da-da, and white people start to really adopt that shit, right? Are we going to tell the Black Southern folks, the Black Texas folks, the Black American folks who have been celebrating Juneteenth for generations, that if they start celebrating that, they're engaging in propaganda? Are you all seeing what it is that I'm trying to draw here? There's got to be a way that we engage with regular Black folks who are not billionaires, who are not even Black capitalists, who are not Black nationalists, who simply are like, oh my gosh, I've been to black rodeos. My granddad used to ride in black rodeos. Oh, me and my mom, we used to go to the drink celebration. We're all white too. Or the folks that are like, oh my gosh, my dad makes country music, or my dad first introduced me to country music, or every time we had a family reunion and family cookout, we was playing blues together because that's what our family did. How are we engaging in those aspects of culture? Or do you just view those aspects of culture as inherently Americana and American? Can you engage in black Southern culture and not resort it to country bumpkin, Americana, imagery nonsense propaganda? Can you engage in it and not worry about the white folks that also might engage in that stuff who are really racist?
I think the perception of Beyonce being that she is cocky rather than confident is rooted in anti-blackness and misogynoir. I've had the unfortunate experience of coming across a couple people who absolutely loathe Beyonce, and one of the most common reasons that they give that has really pricked my ears is that she seems to think that she's better than everyone else. But I don't really know how it could seem that way because that woman doesn't talk to us. Like, she barely puts any personal stuff out there, and when she does, it's usually through her art. When I listen to her music, I hear a woman who is confident, someone who's assured in herself, and someone who, despite basically being a superpower in the entertainment industry, somehow manages to still come across relatable. But I've just always felt that whenever non-black people refer to a black woman specifically as being cocky rather than confident, what they're really saying is that no matter what you do, no matter how talented you are, you do not deserve to feel the same level of pride, the same level of confidence that I feel because of who you are. And if we're being real, I don't know how a lot of people don't feel as though she's earned the right to be cocky. I mean, obviously, I don't know her personally, but if she isn't cocky, I don't know how. But yeah, the next time someone tells you that they hate Beyonce, clock that tea. Clock it.
The girls are being very disingenuous. Nobody not once said that Beyonce is above critique. Nobody said that. I've critiqued her before. It actually wasn't even a critique. It was more for a cry for help. However, after the election results, I take that back. It's just the timing that's a little off. It just seems every time she hits a pinnacle that nobody has yet to hit and probably will never hit, y'all come in and y'all start to pick her apart. And it just, if it's not the Europeans doing it, y'all do it, and it gets real crap in a barrel, and it's very nasty. I don't like it. She stopped speaking because you guys made fun of her accent, because you said that she was too Southern, and then she put out a country album, and then you said she wasn't country enough. She started running around with the American flag to reclaim the American flag for all black Americans, to let them know that this is their country too, because we literally built it. And then you guys had a problem with that too. You was asking why she's running around with that. Y'all was talking about her shade of blonde hair when she's been blonde her whole career. She just went a little lighter. You had a problem with that. Black folks created country just like rock and roll, and was stolen from us as well. I said that she didn't speak on issues that was plaguing the black community. So then she started speaking up and became pro-black. And that was still a problem. Y'all keep talking about what y'all can't do, but we can't even congratulate her. Like, not even in the moment when she deserves a congratulations. It's just so disingenuous, because if it's not the girls trying to compare somebody who's mediocre to her, you're trying to compare her being pro-black to being a white nationalist. Like, come on, y'all. Like, stop.
Critical discourse about Beyonce is so difficult to have because she is the entertainer of our lifetime. And most people who are offering any critical discourse about her in good faith do not want to villainize her to the point that they can no longer enjoy the art that she outputs. That kind of forces everyone to walk this line. And that's before you even get to the Beehive acting like she's above reproach. But this Cowboy Carter era has been a little tough for some people to turn off their political minds all the way and ignore any critique of Beyonce as she cloaks herself in the red, white, and blue of the American flag, is deeply platinum blonde, and is featuring a lot of Texas Americana imagery in her art. Then the other added layer of complexity, y'all gonna be so mad at me about this, Beyonce's politic is shallow. And like most of what she offers us, her political messaging is much more about us projecting our own politic onto what she's trying to say, which is really just talking about herself. Because if I was to accept most of what I have seen on my For You page about the politics of Cowboy Carter, even though Han was specifically talking about a performance and a lot of other people want to talk about the album in totality, we would really have to sit down and have a deep critical debate about all the things that are happening on Cowboy Carter. A lot of this discourse, though, is reminding me of Doreen St. Felix's review of Cowboy Carter in The New Yorker, which I resonate with so heavily. It doesn't make Beyonce's art bad. It is just that It's just that Beyonce gives us the visual performance of a strong politic, but consistently make choices that says otherwise. And there's room to engage with that. Do I think TikTok or any social media app is a place to do that? No.
A lot of you are going to be very mad at the words that I'm about to say, and that's okay. You can be mad at me, but I need you to try and listen from a different perspective. I've seen so many people saying that Beyonce is America's best propaganda machine right now, and I get it. Right, have your criticism, but I believe all art is open to interpretation and criticism. But I think a lot of y'all are being intellectually lazy. Not only that, and I was talking about this yesterday, I believe that media literacy, illiteracy and reading comprehension and comprehension in general is just very low, because people are saying that Beyonce is promoting a pro-American agenda when Cowboy Carter is very blatantly, if you use your brain, very blatantly a criticism of what America is and what it stands for and how it was built. It opens with American Requiem. A requiem is a mass for the dead. It is saying that there are people who there's a whole lot of red in the white and blue. She's literally saying that there are people who died, the backs, oh my God, America is built on the backs of black people, specifically is who she's speaking to and about, because she's talking even about the reclamation of a genre that was founded by black people, that is locked out by black people, which is why the second track is Blackbird, which is a cover of a song that was written about the 3 girls who were killed in the Birmingham bombing during the Civil Rights Movement. She also, on that song, got four country artists, black women who are in country music, who are often overlooked. She got them on a track because she knew that would give them more exposure, which it did. Shouts out to all of the girls on there. They did a beautiful job. Blackbird is about black girls who literally were murdered during the Civil Rights Movement. I don't know. And it was written by Paul McCartney. Don't get me wrong. But if you use your brain, she's criticizing America. She's not saying woo, USA. She's saying, yeah, USA. There's a whole lot of red in that white and blue. Even the choice, because I've seen people bringing up the choice to bring out Post Malone and Miley Cyrus. Let us remember, Miley Cyrus and Post Malone are 2 people who benefited from hip hop and black culture, yet they get respected in the country space. Unlike certain people. Are y'all following what the lady is trying to do? And by all means, I believe that Post Malone and Miley Cyrus are very respectable artists. But the whole point is they get to be in multiple genres and respected in different spaces. Yet there's a limit for... Oh my God, are y'all hearing me? Willie Nelson, who is also a part of this album, is someone who has advocated for black people, queer people, his entire career, albeit not always in a way that I think he should have. But he has advocated for these people in the space since Jump. And he's an OG in the country space. They were also outraged by him saying Black Lives Matter during the Black Lives Matter movement. Literally, I'm telling you, the lady is criticizing the whole goddamn thing. Linda Martell, she is an OG. She's a pioneer in not even just black, but she's a pioneer in country music. Yet she has been overlooked for so many years because of her race. Beyonce is criticizing. And I know you can have your criticism for Beyonce, you can have criticism for the art, but to blatantly misrepresent, it's fucked up. And it's honestly intellectually lazy. And no shade, as a black American who is the great-great-great-great-grandchild of a formerly enslaved person, it's okay for us to say, yeah, we built this bitch. And when you look at America, you can see us. See us. Stop exploiting us, taking our shit. See us. This is us. And I get it. I'm not, look, I don't fuck with America. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's but it's a complex relationship for a reason. And I know that I'm gonna get blowback for this. It's fine. But, to deny what Beyonce means to black Southerners and how she represents what it's like to be a black person existing in this, I think it's intellectually lazy. It's more complex than y'all are giving it credit for. And at the very least, don't just write it off as pro-American propaganda when it's literally criticizing the way that America came to be. Hello?
All right, y'all. So I'm back. I know that was a lot of videos, but I was loving the different takes. You know, everyone has their opinion and they're entitled to it. I personally love the Cowboy Carter album. I love the fact that Beyonce is choosing to just do whatever the heck she wants to do. She earned her stripes, and I feel like she's at this stage where it's like, you know, let me give him something to talk about. Personally, you know, I have Southern roots myself, so I'm loving the acknowledgement of our Black Southern history. I don't feel as though we should be ashamed of it, and I don't feel like we should let it go. So, like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I definitely don't see her promoting white supremacy. I feel like that's a big reach, but we know the internet loves reaching. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do y'all think? Do y'all feel like Beyonce is promoting white supremacy, or is she paying homage to her Black Southern culture? Thanks for tuning in as always. Stay tuned for the next video, and happy holidays, y'all. 2025, here we go.